my name is Dmitry, I'm from Tech Institute, and my track is Energy, and my team is Fantastic Five. And today I'll talk about how to write conclusions successfully in my presentation. My conclusion will be divided in 5 parts, 5 members, 5 parts. And in the first part I'll give you just overview with all general rules how to write conclusions. After that I'll explain in detail each of rules. And after that, in the final part of my presentation, I'll give you some tips about how to write conclusion in the academic research paper. Thank you. So general rules. You need to be in your conclusion. You need to be confident, positive, and brief. Just make a statement and take a proof and prove it. Okay. First rule is repeat your abstract in first sentence. You need to repeat your abstract. For example, in conclusion, material science has become more and more essential in the modern world. Here is you put instead of the material science, you put your object, the main thing of your text, and after that you use has become more and more essential in the modern world. It's a universal standard phrase for your conclusion. Rule number 2: write your arguments. If you have several arguments, you need to collect them all and put into the conclusion. And rule number 3: paraphrase your mind idea, your mind thought in your conclusion. For example, so nowadays it's rather difficult and even impossible to imagine the world without something that is the object of your text. And here is, so nowadays it's rather difficult and even impossible to imagine something. It's a standard universal phrase for your conclusion too. Let's turn to rule number 1. Repeat the sentence of abstract in one. Repeat the sense of abstract in one sentence. You can use in conclusion to sum it up and in sum. And to tell the truth, when you finish your writing, you can remove all of those collocations without any troubles and doubts. Example: to sum up, CPD is increasing in importance in area. Here is CPD, your object, and is increasing in importance in area. Whatever you want, it's a standard phrase for the conclusion. Next one: in some smartphones, that is object, has been developing repeatedly for several years and helps people to do what you want. It's a universal phrase for conclusion, for your conclusion too. And last one, wherever we take a look and where we will see something: chemistry, physics, computers, Apple Watch, I don't know, Windows materials, air pollution, terrorism, wars, breaking news, what you absolutely know. It's your object, and this is the standard phrase. Okay. Once more, repeat your abstract in the first sentence. Use. This study has clearly illustrated that these results suggested that the object is important. The object of your text is important. You can paraphrase it, but it's all is art of paraphrasing. You can paraphrase it in the next several ways. You can say the object is the object plays significant role. I don't know where. You can say that the object is a powerful factor. And you can say the object is becoming more and more essential in the modern world, in our country, in different countries. Rule 2. Rewrite all of your arguments and examples given in text. Please don't use I feel, I believe, I hope, I feel strongly, I believe strongly, because it's too subjective. You need to be more objective. Example of structural example. As online gamers show and it serves, venturing into the digital world is a gateway to society, not a cut-off point. It's a fact. So it looks like structure, source, fact, explanation. Here is no explanation, but you will see it on the next slide. You can use as shown above, as has been noted, and I would like to repeat it again. Rewrite your arguments. If you have several arguments in your essay, in your text, for example, fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, you need to collect them all. And write it again in your conclusion in the last paragraph. Okay, I'll give you one example. If you have, for example, for instance, in the main part of your text, sentence like the vast quantities of non-dynamic particles in the universe, it's a reason, leads to the general consensus among theorists, it's a result, and that over 90% of dark matter is non-dynamic particles. It's a fact. In order to paraphrase this sentence, you need to mix structural fragments. Mix reason, result, fact, and explanation between each other, and you will get your sentence for your conclusion. For example, the general consensus among theorists, it's a source, is that over 90% of dark matter is non-dynamic particles. It's a fact. And because of the vast quantities of non-dynamic particles presented in the universe, it's an explanation. So you need just to mix the structural fragments in your sentences, in your arguments. So rule number 3, very short, paraphrase your idea. Again, use synonyms and emotional passages. You can use so well as the oral does, and examples of paraphrasing, of course. In conclusion, I have argued that laptops should not be banned from classrooms. It's a main idea. You can just paraphrase it by the next way. Say that there is no evidence against your point of view. It's one possible way of paraphrasing. You can use next way, synonyms. Canada is one of the best countries, and Canada is a desirable place to live. Okay, here is the best and desirable place are synonyms. So use synonyms to paraphrase your arguments, your sentences. Okay, and last one, use the word security. Because security is so widespread that you can connect it absolutely with everything. So just construct, say, all will be okay, you won't care about security. And that's all. It's good final phrase for your conclusion. Okay, for academic writing, for your academic research paper, you need to add something new in the main part of your conclusion that covers a few additional aspects. You can also say something about opposite opinion and talk about limitation of your work in your academic research conclusion. And you can also give some recommendation for future work, for EdTech, for society, for community, but please avoid developing any new directions in significant details, and don't provide background detail, because all of your readers have already known all background details from previous fragments of your text. Okay, it looks like trial. Writing conclusion looks like trial because you need to use 3 rules, and conclusion usually divides into 3 parts, and in 3 sentences may be written. Be please persistent, optimistic, and make the final cut in your song. Read the text in 1 sentence, rewrite all of your arguments, and in the final sentence, paraphrase your idea again. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will be happy to take some questions and maybe to get some feedback from you. Thank you very much.